Childhood trauma is unfortunately something that is prevalent in our world. Many of us likely experienced it in some form, be it emotional, physical, or some other manner. The topic I chose was to see how childhood trauma can influence an individual, not only on a psychological level but also physiological and neurological. Is it possible for those who have witnessed or experienced trauma in their childhood to be physiologically or neurologically different from individuals who have not? In order to get an answer, we'll be looking into peer-reviewed studies and seeing how they explain the effects of childhood trauma on an individual. The first study we'll take a look at concerns itself with the effects childhood trauma has on individuals with OCD. It is titled, "The Effects of Childhood Trauma and Adult Stress on Obsessive-Compulsive Symptoms, the Role of Inflammation Markers, and Thalamic Functional Connectivity." This study rounded up individuals who have OCD and used multiple methods, such as plasma collection, laboratory tests, and fMRI data analysis, in order to find if there were any disconnects in the brains of these individuals. fMRI was used because it allows the researchers to see which parts of the brain are active under certain conditions. The levels of analysis involved are neuroanatomical, because it discusses specific regions of the brain, and networks or systems, because it highlights the systems that the areas of the brain are involved in. The condition here is the activation of OCD symptoms. These individuals had OCD, but they also had experiences with childhood trauma. It was found that the main brain network concerning OCD, the frontoparietal network, was not disconnected in individuals who have OCD and also experienced childhood trauma. This means that their frontoparietal network worked as it should. What this study tells us is that people who experience childhood trauma and have OCD do not have physiological deficits concerning their frontoparietal network. Our second study looks to genetics, to see if there is any moderation under its domain on childhood trauma and other correlating symptoms. This study is titled, "Methylation Level of the OPRL1 Gene Moderates the Association Between Childhood Trauma and Somatic Symptoms." The levels of analysis involved here are genetics and possibly whole-body systems, because it discusses a specific gene that is of focus in the study, and it discusses the symptoms involved that stem from other systems in the body, such as the gastrointestinal tract. The goal of this study is to see if this OPRL1 gene has any effects on the somatic symptoms that commonly arise with childhood trauma. The somatic symptoms emphasized in the study include chronic pain, headaches, gastrointestinal discomfort, fatigue, palpitations, and respiratory problems. And according to the National Institute of Health, the OPRL1 gene is known to regulate a variety of biological functions and neurobehavior, including stress responses and anxiety behavior, learning and memory, locomotor activity, and inflammatory and immune responses. When the OPRL1 gene was inhibited via methylation, they found a negative correlation between it and the severity of somatic symptoms. This means that the more the gene was inhibited, the more severe the somatic symptoms were. What this tells us is that when this gene is able to be expressed as needed, it is able to mitigate the physiological and neurological effects of childhood trauma in individuals, including but not limited to somatic symptoms that arise as a consequence of childhood trauma.